And I am Umniatul Khoiriyah
We are from English Education Department, third semester.
of Nabilla University.
In this video, we will explain about 4 topics. The first is superstition.
And number 2 is popular culture. Number 3 is slang words.
And
the
number
last
4 is an review article about perception of beauty across culture.
Okay.
If you're curious about this topic, please watch this video. Superstition is any belief or practice that is considered irrational or supernatural. Superstitions are often associated with concepts such as luck and prophecy, but they can also refer to aspects of folklore. People who hold with superstition will often avoid certain situations without logical reason. Different myths and beliefs that shape various cultures around the world give rise to different kinds of superstition from one place to the next. So, the example of superstition in other countries, the first is black cats or birds. Black cats have always had a bad rap, especially around Halloween, given their perceived allegiance to witches. The poor creatures are just as avoided any day of the year, and it's common superstition that a black cat crossing your path is a bad luck. But they're not alone. In South Korea, crows are seen as bad luck and possibly even harbingers of death. Ravens, too, especially in the UK, are called mortal doom. There's an old British superstition that says sick ravens must remain at the Tower of London at all times or the crown will fall. And in Ireland and Scotland, seeing a single magpie is supposed bad luck, but 2 or more is fine. Number 2 is whistling. Okay, so not just whistling in general, but specifically indoors, whistling indoors at the sun are both ill-advised actions according to Russian and Norwegian superstition, respectively. Whistling indoors supposedly leads to financial problems in Russia. In Norway, whistling at the sun supposedly causes rain. Number 3 is sitting at the corner of a table. According to Hungarian and Russian superstition, and surely others as well, sitting at the corner of the table is bad luck. The unlucky dinner will allegedly never get married. Some say the bad luck only hangs around for 7 years, but as with most superstition, why change it? Okay, these are the superstition in other countries. But of course, as Indonesian people, we know that our country also has many superstitions from Sabang until Merauke. But I'll only take up the superstition in Kudus, Central Java. So what are they? Number 1 is for couple don't dating at Moria Mountain. The myth that is still believed by some circles to say if there are lovers who are dating in the area of Mount Moria, more specifically in Cholo village, Dawe district, then the couple will break up. Okay, number 2 is pregnant woman who eat parijoto will give birth to a beautiful or handsome baby. Do you know parijoto? What is parijoto? Parijoto is a fruit that has a small size and clustered on its stem. It is pink to purple. The taste of this fruit is sour and acid. Okay, the last number 3 is there are not many rulers, officials, politicians, or people who feel they have special power who stop at the mosque or visit the tomb of Sunan Kudus. Why? The wider community associates this with folklore that Sunan Kudus has installed Raja Kalacakra at the gate or entrance to the mosque, which can also access the tomb. Raja, it said, is able to weaken all the strength or power of a person's body. It is even believed the ruler will soon lose his power if it passes through the tattoo. Likewise for officials.
Popular culture is as all of the ideas, knowledge, information, creative works, and principles expressed are enjoyed by a majority of a population at a given time. The term began to assume that the notion of the lower class culture were spread and sometimes at odds through education towards the end of the century, the use of which then became established during the interwar period. The current understanding of the term culture for mass consumption, especially starting in the United States, was used at the end of World War II. The short form culture dates back to the 1960 years. Popular culture initially developed in Europe, more assumed by the culture attack to the lower social class that distinguished it from high culture from an elite class. Popular culture is also often brought closer to the term mass culture or mass culture, which is mass produced and mass consumed as well. And then I will to mention some characteristic of popular culture. Characteristic of popular culture. Number 1, become a trend. One of the characteristics of popular culture is where a culture becomes a trend in people's life and tends to be followed or favored by most people in general. Number 2, the uniformity of form. The uniformity of forms shows the characteristic of a human creation which has become a trend among the general public, which in turn is followed and an imitation process tends to occur through plagiarism. The word can then become a pioneer or promoter for other words with relatively the same characteristic. Number 3, adaptability. Adaptability characteristic shows that perspective on a popular culture will be easy to enjoy and the general public can adapt to the conditions that occur, which then leads to trends that develop in society. And number 4, durability. A popular culture will be seen based on durability, which shows a perspective on the movement of time, where the pioneers of popular culture can define themselves with inherent characteristic and uniqueness so that there will be a resilience of a culture to continue to develop in society, even though it has been a long time. Number 5, profitability. Based on an economic perspective, popular culture has the potential to generate substantial material benefits for industries that are clothed for sustainability. Okay, that is the characteristic of the popular culture. And then I will to mention kind of popular culture. Kind of popular culture is number 1, television, and number 2, fiction, number 3, film, number 4, newspaper and magazine, number 5, pop music, and then I will mention example of popular culture. Number 1, shopping, number 2, Korean fever or Korean wave, okay, number 3, Korean pop or K-pop. Okay, I think that's all about popular culture. And then slang words. Slang consists of words that are non-standard in a given language
and is generally spoken to show inclusion in a certain social group. Social groups can be very small, from just a few friends to very large. Slang is usually considered informal and thus is common in speech but not in writing, unless that writing is texting or internet chatting. The usage of slang often implies a certain familiarity between those who use it together and may show certain attitudes on the part of the speaker. The etymology of the word slang is uncertain. It was first used in the mid 1700 years, and at the time, the definition of slang referred to the specific vocabulary of lower class or disreputable people. And as time went on, slang no longer referred to language spoken by disreputable people. But certainly it means something rather than formally educated speech. Some theorists have posited that slang has the same Scandinavian origin as the word sling, meaning to throw around. And then common example of slang. Social media slang. LOL, LOL, laughing out loud. Abbreviations are very common slang in current texting and social media posting. Other examples are LMBO, laughing my butt off, LBS, laughing but serious, ROFL, rolling on the floor laughing, and friend, unfriend, different. Words that already have a meaning, like the very basic word friend, has taken on new meaning via social media. Now, a verb for to add as a friend on Facebook. There are opposite verbs such as unfriend and different. Hashtag, an interesting slang example which is taken from writing and adopted into speech. The hashtag is used to define the main theme of a post. When spoken, it is slang for defining a theme or idea in what a person is talking about. For example, my boyfriend bought me the most amazing bouquet of flowers yesterday. Hashtag best. Cockney rhyming slang. China, mat. China, plate. Rhymes with mat. Example, I saw me old China today. Almond socks. Almond socks rhymes with socks. Bubble. To tell on. Bubble and squeak. A British dish rhymes with speak. Brown bread. Did. Example, don't you bubble on me or you will end up brown bread. Dog. Telephone. Dog and phone rhymes with telephone. Recent slang. BAE, short for baby but also meaning before anything else. On fleek, something looking perfect from eyebrows on fleek. By Felicia, bidding goodbye to someone or something you don't like. All the feels, lots of strong emotion about something. Example Indonesian slang words. Number 1, lebay. Lebay are exaggerated, over the top. Your ice cream melts under the belly heat if you begin crying or ranting about it. Some might call your reaction lebay. You see a group of friends wearing glimmering ball gowns to a beach bar. Don't say it out loud, but did you see how lebay that outfit was? The word lebay itself is an exaggerated way to say its root word, lebih, meaning more or as the millennials say, extra. And then baper. Baper are too emotional. Baper is a contraction of the phrase bawa perasaan, which translates to taking everything too personally or getting carried away with your emotions. It can be used for any emotions, but lately, the narrative around this word has been revolving around romantic feelings. When someone is being attentive to you, don't get too baper or take it as a sign of attraction. Maybe he or she is just a warm, friendly person. Wallace or slow down. If you read the word from behind, you will get slow, which is another slang word derived from the English word slow. Wallace is an interjection you say to someone to get them to calm down. Think of all the instance you would normally say chill bro. That's your window to show off knowledge of this piece of hip, beautiful Indonesian slang. Okay, that's all about slang words. And then the next video is review an article by Nabilla.
Okay, this is the review of an article. The title is Perception of Beauty Across Culture. This article is told about a woman from India named Baisakhi Saha. She is the writer of this article. When she is still a child, Baisakhi thought she was the most beautiful creature in the whole universe. But as she grew up, that sense of herself shattered. With puberty, she grew ugly, face full of pimples, short and fat. And people all around her pointed out her own ugliness to her. She was bullied everywhere. For many years, until adulthood, she believed she was ugly, hence unlovable. She always yearned, if only I were in taller, if only I were in thinner, if only my face were not so round, if only I were a shade fairer, if only, and so on. Because she believed she was not beautiful, so she focused on academics and excelled. At a very, very young age, still in her teens, she won a full scholarship to study abroad and left India. Since then, she has not just traveled, but lived in different continents. And what she got after travel in another continents? Number one, when she is in the Singapore, the small, petite women with their Chinese features were considered beauty in that society. And then when she is in Africa, she knows that the big African women were considered beautiful. The fatter woman is the more beautiful. And then in the Europe and the Americas, everybody loved Baisakhi with his complexion. In fact, the darker she got, the more beautiful she felt. She felt exotic. And then number 4 is in Venezuela. In Venezuela, their culture, a woman's beauty is so blown up that every second girl at as young as 15, 16, 17 years of age go under the knife, get silicone implants to augment their assets, liposuction to lose fat, cosmetic surgery to correct features, and so on. So, what is interesting things from this article is this article opened my eyes and other women that every country, that every society has their beauty standards. It is about perception. That is Baisakhi Saha said. Baisakhi Saha said, just stand in front of mirror and say to yourself, I am enough, and that is enough really to shift your reality instantly. You will become beautiful, you will walk with more confidence, and people will notice. That's all my review about the article.
Okay, that's all our video.
Now we will say goodbye.
Thanks for watching our video. And
Goodbye.